Okay, here it is. Takes my.
I'm going to talk to Evan, the guy who helps me through everything on this page. You should make a series called God Holy Whack, a detoxing from religion brewing Breuer's God shots. Ooh. I'm going to brew you some God shots. I'm going to brew you some God shots. I'm going to write that down. Damn, you guys are. Hi, Anissa. How are you? Great interview, by the way. God shots from the brew man. Brewing up some God shots. Brewing up some God shots. You want a shot? Here's a God shot. Brewing up. Hold on, I got to type this in so I remember. Brewing up. I'm brewing up some God shots. Wow. I don't know. Brew God shots or something. Think about that one. I like the whole brewing and the God shots, but yeah. Here's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about because I feel it's really raw. I'll tell you why. It's really raw. The audio I did. There's no editing. There's no nothing. I basically, when I'm in an area, I know where I was. I was in Connecticut. I was doing shows in Connecticut, and while I was in Connecticut, wherever I am, I like to go out. Omaha killed me. It was freezing, and I wasn't prepped for it. But when I was in Connecticut, we found this. What about a set on getting into Jesus trouble? Yeah, I'm good at that. I like funny how God works as the title, and then we'll come up with little isms. Clearly, you guys are brilliant at. So I went on this hike, and while I was going on the hike, I said, just stop waiting for the perfect opportunity. That's my problem. A lot of times I wait for the perfect opportunity, and just start talking. Just say, and I recorded it. You got that right. And oh, geez, the rock of great offense. So while I was recording it, it just came out. And what was amazing was it's an incredible story, and there was so many things I wanted to do. See, when I tell stories, I go, I want to see the visual. I want to see this as a show. I want to see it as a blah blah blah. Jess, that's interesting. Love that. So, what's really cool is what happened at the end of the walk.
Hey, Anissa, how are you?
There. Hello. Good afternoon. Good evening and good night. How are you?
I'm doing really good. It's a little dreary where I'm at, but
yeah, let me turn up my volume. Can you hear me?
I can hear you really good.
Oh, okay, great. My lovely husband let me borrow his computer from his studio, so he had to make a little transfer. It was an interesting process.
Yeah, if you never did this before, it's confusing. Not that it's confusing.
It just takes time.
Yeah, that's why I need a little teenager around to help me with stuff.
That's right. You mentioned that in your routine. I saw you perform in Connecticut for Connecticut Ram. Yeah, when you came up for Woodwinds in Branford.
Yes.
Yeah, great show. Great show. That was excellent.
That was the Moms Against Mandates. Right?
Yeah, well, Residents Against Medical Mandates.
Yeah, Residents Against Medical Mandates. They gave me this I still have it. I have this incredible book of all these thank yous. About this from the kids and
I'm sure you have my daughter's work in there too.
Yeah, it was one of the most I can't describe that night. It was, I wish I filmed it. It was It was one of my all-time favorite nights because it wasn't just a show, it was a movement. It was a powerful feeling going on that night. Like everyone was so united. Everyone was all on the same page to stop what they feel is full-blown tyranny, and not only just tyranny, they feel that something is wrong going on, and I feel them 100%, and so do millions of other people.
Right. Yeah, that's a lot of what I wanted to talk to you about today is the polarization that's going on. Just for me, it's affecting even our family, even our decisions to go to so and so's house for Christmas or Thanksgiving. Do I have to get a COVID test before I go to, follow rules for the family? This is crazy,
Well,
But
yeah,
there's a
go
lot
ahead.
of concern there too. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
My friend just called from Long Island, and he called about an hour ago. And I've known him my whole life, and he goes, "Jim, okay, what's up?" And he goes, "I go, how you doing?" He goes, "Madness." I go, "Madness? What's madness, Larry?" He goes, "Madness, bro. I they're talking about mandates with where I'm working at FedEx. They're talking about mandates with my kids now." And he goes, I don't. He goes, I personally don't care, but my wife and my kids are violently against it. And
Yeah.
I said, I don't blame them, Larry. I've known your wife forever, and I've known all you guys forever. And I said, look, man, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not an expert, but I do have common sense.
Mhm.
And when you have to bribe humanity, when you have to force people to do that, or they lose their livelihood, while you're allowing refugees to come in,
I know, right? Oh
there's
my goodness.
there's a there's a and
There's
just to,
another level of fear to that.
well, not only that, it's like I fly on a what is the meaning of a what is the vaccine truly for? Are you saying that it just keeps changing? It went from, okay, if you get vaccinated, you won't get COVID. Okay, you'll get it, but it won't be as bad. Okay, well, you got to get a booster. They keep moving the lines back and forth, and what's more baffling is that people just keep going, "Oh, okay, oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay," and I'm like, what if you? Like I asked Larry, if you get it, if you get COVID, I only know. Well, I don't know. I probably know about 10 people that got it. Maybe a little more that actually had it. None of them died.
Mhm.
6 of them were fully vaccinated.
Yeah, that's a big number.
Um, I also know for a fact 2 of the people I know had malpractice done to them, and that is a fact. It's
Mm.
not a guess. It's a fact. Where one, they put on a respirator. They had no right putting him on a respirator. They pronounced him dead. They wouldn't let his family see him. And what happened was they took him off his meds, and he ended up having a stroke. And then he was dehydrated. I talked about this on Joe Rogan, and he still has trouble walking. And there's a big lawsuit going now. And I had a friend the other day that said, "I just wish people would take this seriously." And I hate to sound mockery of it. And I go, "Yeah, all right, people get sick, but well, how do you know half these people dying aren't malpractice?"
Right.
I don't
Are we
understand.
taking that serious?
And,
Malpractice.
and that's the thing. Why aren't you taking that seriously? Because I know when I got it, the first thing my infectious disease specialist, that's what he is, an infectious disease. So this is right up his alley.
Right.
He's like, no, take vitamins, take vitamins, take vitamins.
Vitamin D, yep.
Until you're ready to start dying or it gets worse. What kind of mentality in the doctor world that nobody's talking about? What kind of mentality, if I come to you and I go, I'm sick, the first thing they do is prescribe something to see if it works. How many people were not prescribed something in Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, all the demonic run states? I'm not a politician. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican. I only care if you're a good human or you're a garbage human. And the people that run those areas are garbage, demonic human beings. They are run by money. They are run by fame. They are run by getting their pockets full of money. It's plain and simple.
Maybe fear of pulling out too. Maybe fear of pulling out. I mean, I feel like fear is a big part of it as well. Like
fear's ruled the world for centuries.
True.
For centuries. The old corporate media is not media. If you change the word to media, it's just fear programming.
Yeah.
It would make so much more sense. You would go, and you would turn it off more. It's just fear.
Yeah.
All it is fear programming. And I recognize this as a kid. I remember asking my dad, because what they'll do is they show on the dun dun dun, the music they use, dun 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 dun. The letters they lose. We're no different than children. It says alert. Breaking news.
Right. Hulk. The Hulk is coming.
It's no different than a big mouth kid or a big mouth street person going, oh my God, look. And everyone just starts, it's chaos. And they start going, wow, what's going on? Oh my God, this is what's going on. Wow, what's going on? Do you feel that? We got to start. That is exactly what all of it is. And
the sky is falling. The sky is falling. That was one of our children's messages even last week. We're like, the sky is falling, Chicken Little. And you can analyze that just from a children's story. Look at where we're at. We're walking around with our heads cut off like chickens. Like you said, what did you say?
Since I was in high school, climate change. We're going to be dead by the 90s. We're going to be dead by 2000. We're going to have a big festival to save the climate. It's still 80, 90, 100 degrees in the summer, and it's still 30, 20 degrees in the winter. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Whoop-de-doo.
Please, it's the common sense factor is lost. So, it's very frustrating to watch. So my friend Larry's like, I don't know what to do. And I went, Larry, the problem with where we're at as humans are, we've been trained just to bitch and moan. Meaning, something's wrong with this. I don't care who you voted for. But when you're paying almost $4 or $5 for gas, you can't get supplies. You're firing people because they didn't get a shot, even though they're healthy. Mm-hmm. Something's dangerously wrong. So we can either bitch and moan, which is what we do,
and point fingers,
or do something.
That's right.
So is the do something is it a big do something? Like you're going to do something nationally and we're going to go, or you do something for your immediate family. I was, the podcast I did yesterday, but I don't know when it'll air or when this will air. He did what I wanted to do, which a lot of people do. And he saw the writing on the wall and he went and bought 30, 40 acres of farmland in Georgia. And now he's got, right as they started talking about, as soon as COVID broke out.
Oh, he was smart.
Yeah. which
I should have bought stock in AMC movies because they went down and right up.
you just heard that, right? Did you hear that? There's the Pelosi thing,
No,
right?
a while ago, but go ahead.
Well, I think it was today I saw
Oh,
where,
really?
yeah, there's these guys that just follow Pelosi's investments.
Oh,
And so whatever she invests in, it just miraculously goes through the roof. And I feel like AMC was one of them. I don't know
oh,
why. I could be wrong. I could be
yeah.
wrong.
I don't know. I don't follow it. More of a
But
crypto gal.
yeah, no, I'm not a fan, trust me. But that's why even we just made a life change. We moved down to Florida.
Yeah.
And every day we go, oh my God, just thank God. You know, I live in a state right now where it's the lowest COVID numbers in the country, the lowest hospitalization, it ain't closed. You get fined. It's illegal to mandate.
Mm-hmm.
He's broken all the boundaries, which is fascinating when I go to Connecticut and I go to New York, Jersey, and they think like, oh my God, Florida, like that guy what? That guy is proving the entire nation that they're all animals running the show and they're collecting money. This guy's kept the state open, no mandates. He fines you as a company. It is illegal to mandate your people, your schools. And when you come down here, it's like 2018. It's like America from right up to 2018. Like, yeah, we don't, oh yeah, you're from, oh, look, there's someone with a mask walking on the beach. They're from the Northeast. Oh,
Right.
look, here comes some Massachusetts people. They're all wearing their masks, walking down the street, no one near them. Boy, they got these poor people scared to death.
Mm.
And you know, I talked to my publicist the other day, who I don't really work with, and even she was like, "I just wish people would take this seriously." Well, I wish people would also take seriously the evil agenda that's going on. And if you don't see it, I don't know how to explain it to you. Then you have a lack of common sense. You're not able to. You have to untouch your emotions. You know, my father-in-law is Democrat. You know why he's Democrat? Because he was in the Union in the 60s. So there's so many people like him. They bought their Philadelphia Eagle jersey, or they bought whatever team they're on, and they're my team, that's my team.
Yeah.
And the mentality of that is just mind boggling. That if I show you X or Y or Z, like I'm a Jets fan.
Right.
Yeah, but the Jets are turning into evil. I was a Jets fan. Yeah, well, I went to Valley Stream Central High. Doesn't mean I want to live next to it and I'm always going to vote the right thing. Like, who cares? That was 30 years ago. It's a
People are
different time.
they're attached to their ideologies.
They're attached to an idea that doesn't exist. That's the fascinating part.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah. Think about
It
that.
doesn't. I don't know what the end game though is. I really don't know if it's people finding their faith, because I feel like more people that have common sense and have a strong faith see right through it all. And they're the ones becoming absolutely fearless. And the voices are getting louder and the pushback is getting harder. And I don't know. I don't know where this is all going, but I can tell you for now, a lot of my stress is gone because I'm in the state of Florida. For now.
Nice.
For now.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I put a post on Facebook saying, anyone want to go to Florida with me? And I'm always joking around, but half the people take me really seriously. And they're like, are you still really going? You know, I was sort of joking, but it would be cool, you know? And then I get this trail of comments about about going to Florida and why I should or shouldn't go. And one of the women, because I'm new at homeschooling, said, well, the only thing about Florida is they really monitor your homeschool work. You have to like turn in every single month some assessment for your kid every single month to the school. I said, well, maybe that's changing too, maybe, because that's the only thing that would definitely hold me back. Because here in Connecticut, we don't have any restrictions to homeschool. We actually have it pretty easy, but everything else about it totally sucks. So I
I
don't know, my are sort
I,
of,
I would look into that because
yeah, I probably
I
should. Yeah.
I remember I also talked to a big time comedian the other day, and he did what my wife and I were talking about when this was first breaking out. And they were like, teachers aren't going back and blah, they want to
Me.
Zoom. Yeah. And we're like, well, why don't we just why don't a bunch of us, where all our kids are best friends, why don't we hire a teacher and we all pay her $5,000 to $10,000 for the year, and she's got 10 kids, and she's already making more money she did in the freaking schools. And we say, hey, we're gonna go on a trip. Hey, we're gonna be outside all day. Hey, we're gonna learn about X, Y, and Z. And you get 8 to 12 homeschool kids paying whatever they pay. Let's say this. It's $3,000 per family, whatever it is. The freedom that you can have, A, with your own children, and B, you don't have to be worried about learning from a system that
Yes.
clearly
Yes.
bullshit.
Yes.
It's bullshit.
That's right. That's right. Critical thinking needs to be addressed immediately. Just like there's so much we have to tackle, but it's not that hard. It's not as hard. Like I get caught up with the, critical race theory, cancel culture, all these different acronyms for the, it just baffles my mind.
They're all dumb,
Um,
and
Go
they're
ahead.
all bad agendas. They're all
Oh,
none
yeah,
of it. None of it, in my opinion,
divisive.
is meant for the goodness of humanity or goodness for soul. It's all meant to divide and conquer. That's all it is. It's a paid agenda from somewhere evil that's trying to manipulate minds and create a generation so they can manipulate them down the road. We really may be at the time where we kept saying we need to start over. I was a metalhead, and one of my all-time favorite songs, and it still holds up, and you may not be a metal fan, but the song was called Peace Sells, and it's by Megadeth. And since high school, it was the chorus is, if there's a new way, I'll be the first in line, but it better work this time. And it's just, it's so good. And I love the line where he goes, he goes, what do you mean I couldn't be the president of the United States? It's still we, the people, right? And, and,
Nice.
I'll be the first in line. Better. Oh my God. And we
Yeah.
mosh. But this may be the beginning of a whole new frontier where whatever this world is, this mind. I mean, if you even think about school, do kids need to be somewhere? Sure they do. Do they need to be learning what they're learning? I will say 1,000% no. And then if you look at what do they need, what do you don't learn anything about faith. You don't learn about morals. You don't learn about caretaking. You don't learn about relationships. You don't learn about survival. You don't learn about if a husband or a wife dies or cancer in your family. You don't learn. You're like, Ponce de Leon came here. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
And when you're trying to explain that to a child's brain don't give a shit. A child's mind is the most creative innocent. You can learn so much through the eyes of children, through the eyes of a teenager, as long as their brains are not infiltrated, but they infiltrate them younger and younger and younger and younger. And it's I think it's, we laughed at, I'm not saying the Amish ways ago, but you laugh at,
yeah, right.
you laugh at,
They're not getting COVID. I wonder why.
they're not getting COVID, and they
So
just,
funny.
they
But
live off, they live for what they need. And we, somewhere along the line, just like all the great empires, they addict you to a system, and they addict you worse than heroin to this structure that makes no sense. People used to get so pissed at me because I would talk about universities. I'm like, what a scam. They're like, just because you didn't go to college. Like, well, let me ask something. How many people go to college and universities? Tens, hundreds of millions of people? Out of that number, how many people are doing what they love to do? And out of that group, how many of them are doing what they studied to do? And it's common sense if you look at the world. If you're doing something you don't enjoy, which is most of the population, you're miserable inside. It causes alcoholism. It causes stress. It causes pill popping. It causes violence. It causes so many unhealthy issues for your mind and soul. And it comes from a structure where you're, as a child, sit in this box. And if you don't pay attention, they create, your child has a, what do they ever say? Your child, he has a, what do they always say? They have a disorder. A disorder.
Yeah, a disorder.
A disorder. Really? It's a disorder. It's called, your child can't pay attention. Huh? ADHD. ADHD, again, I'm not a doctor, and I'm sure it exists. If you take a 9-year-old child with ADHD and you give them something they absolutely love to do, suddenly they become a rocket scientist. So do they have ADHD, or are we just directing their energy, their creativity, and their passion and love for something, and we're pulling it out of them and forcing them to engage in something else? And not only are we forcing them, if they don't do it, we drug them. And we prey on the parents. Your poor child has a condition. It's called they're not living up to our system. And then you go to a college university, and then you pay $20, $30, $40,000 a year. You're in debt, and what do you do there? Booze, weed, bang as much as you want. A lot of kids get lost there. A lot of kids come back a lot heavier. Why are they heavier? Because they eat like crap. They got no money. They're drinking, and their self-esteem plummets because they become whores. I mean,
you're not learning how to cook or anything either. It's not like there's
you're not learning how to do anything.
Yeah, sure.
And it's stressful, and the peer pressure's through the roof. And then you come out, and you're in the system of the, hey, join the, and most of them get lost in that world. And so we may be at a time and era where a lot of humanity wakes up and they go, you know what? the system wasn't that great. And we don't know what it is, but it's okay to have not a lot. It's okay to start homeschooling. It's okay not to stick needles in us nonstop. It it baffles my mind when people go, you know, you're leading out misinformation. I love the people that say the word, you're putting out misinformation. They're the same people that are putting out ridiculous misinformation.
Yeah. Right.
So, I mean, if you look at how many women have gotten breast cancer from the moment birth control started,
Yeah, you said.
I think you'd be pretty thrown. If you looked at the amount of children, boys, that have gotten autistic, I have 3 in my family. We never had that, ever. We never had a problem in the Breuer gene pool. And all the new generation, 3. And you're telling me, how many vaccines do we have as a kid? How many do they have now? You can't tell me that there's some demonic evil stuff. It ain't for your health. It's for, you're just a number. You're not a human. It's a big, ugly, vicious game. And I know people will get mad. I don't care. Be mad. That's because you won't put your own investigation in. That's up to you. Maybe you don't know someone that got affected by a vaccine. Maybe you don't know one that has Down syndrome. Maybe you don't live that life. You know, I look at my in-laws. They're like, yeah, of course you do, because you're retired. You don't care about people losing their jobs. You're retired.
Yeah, well,
So
that sort of leads me to my question. It's like there's so much of this mentality of like, well, I'm done because I got my pension, and so there's that knee-jerk response. Some people have it, some people don't. I don't know why, but to just give back to society. I feel like a lot of people are at this stage of apathy, and that's what I'm concerned about, is the apathy. For example, when I pulled my daughter out for homeschooling, I thought I just had like good intentions. Like you were saying last week with your last podcaster, they asked you about, you said intention is key.
yes,
My intention was that the public school and the homeschool groups would be, oh, communicating with one another and helping each other out because it's hard times, pandemic. They were so incredibly rude to me, and I was incredibly patient with them. Like, I'm not trying to boast. I'm just saying you know, I had my own frustrations, but I kept quiet about those. And I just laid out, like, flat out what I would like, some materials, maybe some information about, what different semesters, nothing, no communication, zero zilch. Now, why is that? And my whole thing is, why don't we like be the bridge, if we can, to those people that are open to it? Because I don't want there to be a divide between, what I'm worried about is the public school kids and the private school kids and homeschool kids are all going to be divided. And that is where I feel like I need to step up my game a little bit. I need to be communicating with these families in the network, trying to get people, whether or not they want to do a playgroup or not, just in some way, like a potluck, just getting together, socialize, just have some fun together, get to know each other. Eventually it might lead to, educational co-op groups, whatever. But you know what I'm saying, Jim? Like, so my question is, like, what would you say to someone who's aspiring to become, let's say, like an entrepreneur like myself? This is all a new boat for me. I'm totally freaked out. You're like, what do I do? What would you say to people like me and even younger actual children? I'm like 42, pushed almost 42 years old. But for younger kids, also just growing up in this world, what would you say to them? Are we being too edgy? What can we do better, in your opinion?
I I only know how to answer it one way, because I only know my way, and for what I've seen. And what I mean by that is, my whole life, not always easy, but I followed my heart and passion. And even when people start things up, I go, well, let me ask you, why are you doing this? That's a big question. What is the why? And if it's to make money,
Yeah.
you might make money, but eventually it's gonna turn into something else. It's either not gonna be enough, or you're gonna start getting shady and whatever. Maybe not. Maybe there's a slim chance. But when you follow your passion and you follow your heart, is this the right thing? Should I be doing this? Am I touching lives? Am I inspiring people? Am I making a difference? Are people looking at me going, I want to be like that person? I, every day of my life, do the best I can. I'm not good. I'm not great. But in the back of my head, I pretend everyone's watching me nonstop. If anything, when I first started getting noticed a lot, I took it as, well, now's your time to set an example, because now all eyes are on you. Your family's eyes are on you. Your nieces, your nephews, soon to be your kids, and your kids' parent. All eyes are on you. So how do you want people to? You want them to go, this asshole or this guy, or do you want them to go, you know what? This one's walked a good path. They may not make the money that this one makes. They may not do but and I keep telling my kids this too. I had this discussion with my oldest daughter. I'm like, stop trying to figure out how much money you'll make down the road, because you don't know. Figure out what you're dying to do to go, oh my God, my oldest daughter's like, I love the ocean and I know it sounds corny. I want to be like with dolphins. Why is it corny?
Oh, that's beautiful. Is she getting back into that? Because you were saying she got all weird after college.
I hope she does. And I'm like, well, join the Coast Guard. Volunteer.
Yeah.
Volunteer Coast Guard. And who cares?
Get your license. I got my scuba dive license. It was the best thing I've ever done.
We all do. We all have a license, and now we want to up the ante. We want to maybe get a better.
Get people on the boat. Take people out on the boat or something.
As I said too, like maybe we as a family take a course one summer how we can be the instructors, even if it's like I'm not looking for how cool would that be?
So cool.
So that's always been everyone I ask, no matter what they're into, there's two things. I go, A, what are you doing it for? Are you doing it for you love this and there's a passion for it? And then the other thing is, especially when you're young, invest in it. Don't have a fallback.
Yeah.
Don't have a fallback. Think of this. If I'm getting married or I'm going to start dating, and we're going to start dating, and I'm already like, well, if she don't work out I already got a foot out the door. I don't want to lose Carol and Sherry and blah, 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 because just in case this don't work out, you already have a foot out the door.
Right.
So you can never fully commit. You can never give everything you got. With what you're going after in life, if you're going, well, don't work out, I'm gonna study this just in case. For what?
Yeah.
There is no just in case. I did this with stand-up comedy, and I went, the minute I went, well, all these people went to college. It takes them 4 or 5 years before they're even working at a job that they hate.
Here it's insurance.
hate, and most of them had to get a job because they needed health insurance. So they're now working at the job where they have health insurance until they start working about the job what they really want. So they're in their mid-20s and they're still not where they're at.
Right.
Where I said, screw it, I'm going full blown, and I know I'm not going to make money. The college kids don't make money. I know I'm going to struggle. Well, they struggle. And by the time I was 25, money started coming, and then 26, 27, television, and then bing, bang, boom, until I decided, like, whoa, this is not the industry. I don't like this industry. I like this, and I will return, but only on my standards. I will write TV shows. I will write a film or two, but the kind that I always wanted to do, that are filled with humor, passion, an incredible story, inspiring, loving, deep, and just real, raw and real. With no, and I don't care if it costs me whatever to make it. I ain't looking to be a blockbuster. I'm just looking for people to go, that was, and like, I have a series I want to work on. I'm gonna start. It's just, people will watch this. They're gonna cry. They're gonna laugh. They're gonna want to hug. They're gonna. It's but you have to dedicate to it. You have to just go. But I also know I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready, so I'm not going to invest in it until I'm ready. When I'm ready, I'm going all in because I know it's going to crush. It's going to crush.
Yeah, crush it. Nice. Anything else more you want to tell us about that? Sounds interesting.
It is
still kind of on the down low. Not ready yet to talk.
No, but you know what? I have to listen to it today, but
brewing, get it brewing.
Yeah, I do have I've had it brewing for a couple of years, and it's all based on true stories. It was all. I'm actually having dinner with the guy after we're done. I'm gonna go meet him. He's visiting down here, and it's a guy that lost his wife. And what was more mind blowing was, he didn't want to live anymore, and he would come into this little coffee shop, and he became my mission, and then we all became this little community, and now we're a family of about 15, 20 of us, including wives, where we go on trips and we do this, and it's all this amazing love. And the greatest thing about it was, when I grew up, when you grew up, you don't care about money. You don't care about any of that stuff. You just care about each other. Oh, here comes Bill, and he's this way. Here comes Todd, he's that way. And this is what you think. I was looking for that my whole life. Ever since I left my street, I wanted to get back to my street, because it was a village mentality. It was a neighborhood. It was a all for one, one for all. Nice. This guy always talks politics, and he drives me nuts, but I love him. He's still so-and-so. And this one is always cursing up a storm, mother effing nonstop, even when the kids are around, like, but love him to death, got a heart this big. And so it's just incredible how this whole community is built on a woman I never met. A woman that passed away. And that's the beauty side of life. That's the beauty side. When we can take COVID, you're about to be fired. They want to mandate, they want to stick a needle in your kid for no reason whatsoever. The kids aren't getting sick. The kids aren't dying. Teenagers ain't getting sick. Teenagers are not dying. Young adults, the people, it was the obese, the ones that have problems, they were the main problem. So, but when you can find the dark side of life and you find the light, I love that beauty. Years ago, the thing that helped me, I haven't done TV and film for years, but for some reason I just keep boing, and just got popular again. Who the hell knows? Years ago, it was these Mets videos. People didn't even like the New York Mets. They were like, have you seen Jim Breuer? He does these videos after the game. That came from my wife during one of our worst times. She had cancer. She was going through chemo, and it was her second time that she had it. And she was sitting there, and it was at the time where Facebook was just exploding. And I had a guy working with me. He's like, you have to make videos. I'm like, I don't want to. I don't. It's corny. It's like, no, you got to get on social media and you have to make videos. And I tried making a couple, but when I try, it just feels wrong. I have such a hard time doing it. I like when I'm feeling passionate and emotional, and it seems to just be organic when it happens. And that seems to be the last month and a half. Like every time I just went, I need to say this and feel it will go boom. I didn't expect it. So she was sitting on the couch, chemo that bald, lumps on her skin, and she's watching me watch the first New York Mets game of the year. It's opening day, and I'm yelling the whole. Are you kidding? Why would you bring that guy in? For God, damn it! And then the Mets were against their competitor, and their competitor just signed the greatest pitcher in the world. And we had a guy that was 40 and he's 300 pounds, but they went toe to toe, and the Mets eventually won. But I was yelling at the TV. I'm like, yeah, what do you think of that? And how about so-and-so knocking it? And my wife is sitting there with no energy, all chemoed up, going, I said, what's so funny? She went, you know what, Jim? This is what you should be doing videos of. I went, of what? She goes, you reacting to the ball game. She goes, nobody does. Jim, I wish the world could see you right now. I don't even like baseball, but you're so damn entertaining watching this. And she goes, and don't try to act. Don't act and be funny. Just be yourself. It's just enough. And so that night, that game, I looked at her on the couch like, that's a brilliant idea. So I made the one video. It was 2015. I made a video. Hey, the Mets, ding, the bong, the bing, the bum, bum, bum. And then that night, the Mets reach out. Can we use that on our website?
Great.
No, I went,
That's quick.
What? Really? The next day, all the local New York radio stations. Did you see what Jim Breuer did last night? Where he made a video? So then my wife goes, you got to do every game. And I went, seriously, are you crazy? There's 162 games. I'm not doing it. So Jim.
Well, it's hot.
Every game. I went, I am not doing every game. She went, you have to.
Oh.
Well, talk about catching lightning in a bottle. It's the year the Mets went to the World Series. And they won like 10, 11 in a row in the beginning of the season.
That's right.
And I went from 30,000 views a night, 50,000 views a night, 200. People were yelling when the game was over, where's the damn video? I'm waiting a half hour. And sometimes where we lived in the woods, the internet, if the video was more than 2 minutes, it would take a long time to upload. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get the video up. And people are like, where's the recap? And they made it to the World Series. And it was 1 million to 2 million a night watching this thing.
What? Whoa.
And then, but
that's how
it brought so much happiness to our family.
Yeah.
We all started watching together. It was a healing thing.
Sure.
we did so much together that year. And then the next year or two, I tried doing the videos, but
wasn't the same.
I wasn't the same. That's why people go, you never stick to the same thing. And I went,
That would be boring.
I get bored. I get bored.
Just like everyone
What?
else.
Yeah, that's why you're not further. I'm like,
Oh,
but I don't care. I don't care.
that's good. That's good. Some people just keep chasing and chasing the next best thing. What's the point?
it was
Enjoy.
it was a beautiful moment in time. It really was. I can't see myself doing that again. But what I did see that was fascinating was the amount of people it inspired. Because after that, that's all you saw, especially the last 2-3 years, were people making videos of them watching the game and analyzing a game. And, you know, people like, they ripped you off. I'm like, it wasn't meant to own. It's just, hey, if that's what makes you happy and that's what makes you become that, you know, people go, this other comedian's ripping you off. He's doing the Yankee. Like, I don't care. I don't care. That was for me. And that was for, I don't care. If they want to, who cares? Who cares? Knock it out.
Yeah. This is a season that God has shared with me some very valuable information about this season. And it's just how he speaks to me is like how he speaks to everybody, you know, like you get confirmation. It's not a big deal if you know, for me, it's just about recognizing that still small voice. And when something like that happens, it reminds me that when we tune in to whatever's right in front of us, that could be the next thing that helps you in life, whether it's healing from some past or just leading you to the next. If you just keep focusing on your own thing, I had to learn this. Like when I got hyper focused on my thing, I started leaving out my family. And when I start leaving out my family, I'm no longer working in God's realm, what he wants me to do. You know, I'm getting off balance, if that makes sense. As a Christian mystic, I'm kind of out there. So hope that made sense. But
Not at all. Not at all.
Beautiful. I love that story about your family. Yeah.
It makes all the sense in the world. And that's another thing where I think you'll like, and I told my wife a story and she's like, oh my God, Jim, I started this series. I've been dying to do this series and I've been afraid. And I had this great conversation with this other comic. He's Larry the Cable Guy. And I would have never thought he had this deep faith. I had no clue. He reached out. But he and I are like, you know, I'm not afraid to say where my morals are based of that anymore. I'm tired of like pretending it doesn't come from somewhere. And if you enjoy what I put out there, if you enjoy the walk I walk, but it bothers you if I say, well, you know, if I mention God, you're like, oh, like, why does that bother you? Why does that bother you? So I guess what I'm saying is there's two things I want to say was you got to listen to that voice. And we get wrapped up. And when we get wrapped up, we go off the path. Every time I ask him, I go, what do you want me to do? Tell me what you want me to do. Before every show, I go, please let me say what you want me to say.
Yes.
I'm begging you, God, please let me not be in your way. Let me just let it just come out through my voice. And I fail a lot, but there are times where I feel honestly like the night I performed in Connecticut where it just.
No, yeah, you did not, I don't see you as failing at all. You're just so in the flow and beautiful.
It just as it was coming out, I felt I was watching going, wow, wow. You got to remember all that. Oh. And I'm like, I'm not going to remember all that. And sometimes it's not meant for more than just that room. It might have been just for you. Might have been.
You're saying that wasn't recorded or like you have it anywhere? No, not at all. Wow, that's kind of cool.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I record every show, and that show, I think I hit record, And what happened was someone texted, or I didn't turn airplane mode on. And then if someone calls or texts, it stops recording. And I remember looking, I went, oh no. Cause I was on a adrenaline high after that. It was so beautiful. But what I was going to say was, on this Patreon, I'm going to put out, I just recorded the first one. I got to listen to it. I said I was going to listen to it. I have to listen to it. It's called Funny How God Works. And it's all amazing stories throughout my whole life. And I'll give you a tiny, tiny one that I didn't record. And it's a couple minutes where I bought a new car. It's a Honda Insight. Doesn't have great pickup, but the reason I got it, thank God, was because I travel so much. I'm not into hot rods. I'm not into cars, but this car gets almost 50 miles to the gallon. It's not electric. You put gas in it. And up until the last year and a half, I would pay $16 on an empty tank, $17, and I'd get 500 miles to the gallon. Unbelievable. I mean, not 500. I give 48 to 50 miles to the gallon. So this one night, I'm playing the Paramount, New York, Long Island, and I bring my friend Rob, who I'm having dinner with, whose wife passed away. We all create this thing. And it was one of those nights where he didn't know anything I did. And now he never asked, and I never asked him. He just thought I was a great friend. And then finally I'm like, hey, I got this. I got to work out Long Island, but I got to pick up my brother and then bring him there and bring him to dinner. He's going through a lot. His wife's got dementia and she's only 60. You want to take a ride? He's like, yeah, sure, I'll take her. And then he found out I was a comedian, and he's like, holy crap, 1,000 people here. I went, yeah, I didn't want to. He's like, I didn't want to tell you, man, because then it just distorts things. So with that said, that night we're driving home, and there's a lot of drunk drivers. The weather was terrible. I'm driving from Long Island and it had us going through Manhattan. Waze, for some reason, it had us going through Manhattan. And there was a couple drunk drivers, almost hit us. The weather was terrible. And I just couldn't wait to get on the Jersey side where it was quieter. I finally got on the Jersey side. It was very dark. It's raining. And me and Rob were like, oh my God, thank God. Like, thank God we're out of New York side. I couldn't believe all the drunk drivers, how maniac it was. And I was in the left lane. And my whole life, I'm in the left lane. Always driving the left lane. But this car doesn't have killer pickup. And the voice said, Jim, get in the middle lane. Why in the left lane? Get in the middle lane. Not only just for the car, just for your life. You just crossed over 50. What's the rush? Get in the middle lane. And that was the voice in my head. God's voice, whatever voice you want to call it. I immediately just smiled, put on my blinker, and went, you're right. And I went in the middle lane. And all of a sudden, in the left lane, in the pitch black, was a car, stopped, no lights on. And me and Rob just went, holy shit. Holy shit. Did you see it? I went, oh my God, he's going to get killed. Someone's going to get killed. He just stopped it. There's no lights on. And then we realized, we looked to the right and there were about 5 cars up on the bed and against the, like, we just missed some monster accident. But this car, I don't even know if they were in it, was in the left lane with no light. The lights were off. It wasn't like
no lights, no cones, nothing, just
nothing, pitch black, and it was raining, and there were no light in that part of Jersey. There's no the headlamp, street lamp, so it's really dark. And I went, oh my God, we were seconds of being killed. Seconds.
Wow.
And I went, and then I turned to Rob and go, Rob, oh my God, right before that happened, the voice told me to go in the middle lane. And it said, Jim, slow down life. It was a gentle voice. Just go in the middle lane.
Yeah.
Start slowing down a lot. And literally, just as I did that, it was zoom. Holy shit.
Wow.
And I still,
Whew.
I don't care what anyone says. Call that coincidence. You have to be open to that consciousness.
Right.
And anyone that ridicules, oh, that's stupid, blah, blah, to you it is.
Mm-hmm.
To you it is. For the people that go, that's ridiculous, it's just, to you it is. And I'm not going to interfere your thought process. But to me, it's absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely powerful. It's inspiring. It's calming. It's peaceful. It's real. It's honest. And it saves my life.
That's right. That's what people need.
Man, this hour flew.
Totally.
This hour flew. We're gonna have to do this again.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we got to stop. Right. So, oops.
Hey, I wish you.
Yeah.
You have great intentions. I can tell.
Okay.
You have great intentions. Don't let others' intentions or fears or confusion stop you on the path you're going. If you know it's for the right, if you know what you're doing, and you can't get help, be creative. You'll figure it out. Ask the way, it'll come to you. You'll be shown. And it'll be fine. It won't be easy, but it'll be okay. And it'll be worth it in the long run. And man, I'm rooting you on. I'm rooting you on.
That's so good. Yeah, I just wanted to share real quick this acronym I'll leave you with. So you probably know Robert Malone. He was the creator of this thing, this vax or whatever. He did the mRNA. He was one of the scientists who's stepping out on faith about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but whatever. I sent you a link so you know who he is, because he's speaking out against it. Because he knows exactly what it is and what's in it, and yeah, so he's speaking out against it, but I'm not trying to go to that topic. I just want to say his acronym that he's telling people now is faith is first attribute in thinking healthy. And so I've been keeping that in my mind. First attribute in thinking healthy. It's a mindset. It actually produces good fruit in your life. It actually produces the quality of life that people are seeking, no matter what your monetary funds are, what your bank account looks like. You are rich, you are wealthy, you are full of joy of the Lord as your strength, full of, peace and prosperity. All these things are promised to us and they're in the Bible. But when someone comes at you and says, oh, that's prosperity gospel, or oh, that's universalism, or and somehow that's bad, or all this stuff, I just say, you know what, this is what God's showing me. You don't have to agree with it. Go to him yourself.
Do your thing and I thing.
Yeah, so I thought you might like that acronym there.
I do appreciate the conversation. I wish you the best. I was blessed to have this day, and I wish
thank you.
We'll catch up soon. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.